My name is Jerry Brown. I'm your MC for this evening, and I'd like to welcome you here at this occasion. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our caterers, Night Steakhouse, for the great food.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Don. I'd like to welcome you to the celebration of Kiwanis Club's history and its future. Tonight we're going to focus on our chief fundraising activity, the Kiwanis Sale, along with the foresight and planning that enabled our club to accomplish more than 96 years of community service. We're here to see and hear a story that's familiar to some of you, but new to others. It's a story of hard work, great fun, a story of traditions and of change. In summary, it's a story of what a like-minded group of people can accomplish to make a difference in this community and beyond. And we have fun doing it. First, I'd like to draw your attention to the inside of your program. This evening's festivities are sponsored by the club past presidents. I would ask that now all Kiwanis Club members who are past presidents please stand and be recognized. Thank you very much. Not quite a past club president yet. We have two people that I want to give special recognition to. Our current president, Alan Berg. Alan, please stand and be recognized. And our incoming president, who will start her duties next Monday, Gretchen Preston. Gretchen, would you stand? Now, we've had some help from other people in our community, some of whom are here this evening. I would ask Don Butcher and Jake Hayes if they would please stand. Don and his partner Jake gave us the use of a warehouse facility off of Ellsworth Road when we ran out of room in this building. Thank you, fellas, very much. We appreciate that. I would also ask Harry Cross and his brother Bradley Cross to please stand right down here. These folks, through the Ray and Eleanor Cross Family Foundation, have given significant support to this event. But even more importantly, over many years, they have matched individual giving to scholarships and camperships for youth in our community. Thank you to the Cross family. Yeah. Now, having mentioned the word scholarship, I again direct you to your program for the evening. This evening is completely underwritten by our sponsors, but we do ask you that you consider a contribution to a fund for scholarships. Each year, our club awards 30 to 40 scholarships to deserving Ann Arbor High School students. We would like to present one or more scholarships in 2018 in honor of our Kiwanis Sale volunteers, who will be recognized later in the program. There are donation materials on the tables, and there's a box by the door for your response. If you forgot your checkbook, you may use the envelope on the table to mail in your contribution. Thank you very much for considering contributing to a fund to provide high school scholarships next year. At this time, thank you. At this time, I'm going to start the program by introducing our first speaker, Sheridan Springer. Sheridan joined our club in 1960. That makes him second in years of service, only to Wally Neiman, who joined in 1952. Wally's here tonight. Wally, would you stand up? Up there in the back. Sheridan has served on most of our committees and some committees that have been renamed. He was on the board of directors in 1963 and 64, and again in 2013 and 14. He served as club president in 1966, 67, and at this point, I believe Sherry is the dean of our club's past presidents, meaning the longest serving club past president. He's also the lieutenant governor of the Michigan division in 1971-72. And just so you'll know that no moss grew under his feet, Sherry also has 57 years of perfect attendance. Sherry currently serves on the Strategic and Long-Range Planning and the Budget and Finance Committee. With this, I'd like you to welcome Sheridan Springer to begin our program this evening.
As our program suggests, I'm going to be looking at the successful beginning of this club. The club was chartered in 1921 with 60 charter members. The club quickly started raising money to help needy individuals in the Ann Arbor area. I've been asked to briefly talk about the history of the club, the fundraising, and the sale. I hope I don't confuse you as some of these become interrelated. The first fundraising activities started almost immediately with card parties sponsored by the club as a fundraiser. The money raised was given to the Mott Children's Hospital. The next fundraiser was a selling of the Ann Arbor News. On a Saturday morning, the Ann Arbor News would publish the Saturday edition, but put a front and rear page on the paper depicting the activities of this club. And the members would go from one place to another throughout the downtown hawking the paper. Starting in 1927 and continuing through 1947, the main fundraiser of this club became what at that time was called the rummage sale. The sale was held in various buildings in downtown Ann Arbor that were vacant at the time and allowed us to have a free place to have the sale. The actual sale each year started on the first Thursday after the 3rd of February. You might ask why. Why? The 3rd of the month was the day people got their Social Security checks. Set up in preparation for the sale started on the Saturday prior to the sale week. It was a lot of fun, it was a lot of work, and we all enjoyed the time together. Volunteers, members, spouses, children, all helped out. Prior to the sale, Hugh Wanty donated the use of a semi-truck to bring the merchandise, our supplies, our racks, our tables, supplies for the sale to the various sites. We moved on to the Armory in 1948. In the first 20 years of selling, the sales were relatively minor by today's dollar, but we've got to remember the difference in the dollar value. The first 20 years raised approximately $70,000, of which $63,000 was contributed to various charities. When we moved into the building in 1948, when we moved into the armory, Kiwanis continued helping bring the supplies in. The Ann Arbor News helped, and we all worked for a solid week getting the sale going. At that time, from the initial sale through coming to this building, Stein Cleaners cleaned all the garments that came in for the sale, as long as they came in by the Saturday prior to the sale. But Ike Stein was a charter member and contributed, and his son Bud, past president, followed through until we got in the new building. Ray McCullough supervised the picking up of merchandise and helped keep the members working. The trucks were provided by local car dealers and members, but we did not own any mobile equipment. Storage locations became a major problem. They were sometimes buildings in bad shape, roofs leaking, merchandise getting wet. It was a real tough undertaking. During the 20 years that we were at the armory, the sales figure increased to $180,351. Contributions made to the community at that time, or during that period, were $132,230. After the sale in 1965, Dean Bolges and several of the rest of us sat down at the Elks to have a drink and anticipated looking for a permanent location for the sale. In addition to Dean, Tex Calvin, Fred Schmidt, Chuck Gregory, Don Butcher, and myself were in attendance. We discussed the situation from both a storage situation and a sale location. Dean had an idea that we should buy a building out on North Main Street that was currently owned at that time by the Washtenaw County Road Commission. We started investigating that as a potential purchase, only to be outbid by Glamour Homes, so that went down the tubes. We then started looking at a property over on Huron Street where the Artificial Ice Company had been as a possible site to house our activities. We were meeting to put together an offer on that building. And Bob Johnson, a local CPA, came to us at the last minute and said, "Gentlemen, I have something else you ought to consider." He had talked to John Swisher Jr. Father John Sr. was the 5th president of this club and a charter member, and the Swisher family owned this building. The building was not in good shape. I'm not in any way trying to say it was, but their offer to us was one we couldn't refuse. Total price, $60,000. $5,000 a year, and that was it. In April of 1966, the club voted to purchase this building, and we did. There are currently 6 active members in the club today that were active in April of '66. Wally Neiman, who's here tonight, Dick Benedict, Clarence Dukes. I didn't say it the other way, Clarence. And myself. 4 of the 6 are here tonight. So I just wanted to recognize those people. When we purchased this building, the basement and this floor were basically nothing but raw space. There was no ceiling. All you saw was the underside of the roof. No lighting, no heat up here. A stairway in the middle of the room right out in front of us.
No potties?
No potty. We'd all be in trouble. But we started on the renovations, and we had some real guidance. Tex Calvin, a local architect, Don Butcher, Bud Katz, Arnie Lovengeyer, all contributed tirelessly and a lot of effort on their part, in many cases for no pay. But we got the building started, renovating it, by putting in the 2 stairwells that are fireproof in the front corners of the front and rear corner of the building. And we made a lot of other renovations to the building. The first floor had been used for retail. It did have a bathroom, it did have heat, it did have lights, but basically that was it. As we started working on the renovation, I'm going to tell a story that actually happened. Don Butcher's here tonight. He was with me the night it happened. We were working in the basement to install the new elevator, which was replacing what was called a rope pull elevator. If you wanted to go up, you pulled the rope one way. You wanted to go down, you pulled it the other way. You got there. We were digging a hole at the bottom of the elevator for the cylinder to be in. One of the other members, in addition to Don and myself that were there, was the gentleman from the Milan prison who was in charge of work release of the inmates for jobs while they were getting ready to leave the prison system. About 9:30, this gentleman apologized to us but said, "I'm sorry, I'm going on vacation tomorrow and I need to leave." Well, fine. He left. Unbeknown to us at the time, but a day or so later, he was arrested. He had murdered a gentleman. The body was in the trunk of his car while we were working. Subsequently, he was convicted and sent to prison. I mentioned the renovations that we went through. As I started by saying, there's 2 stairwells. We put new plumbing on this floor for the kitchen and bathrooms, new plumbing in the basement for the bathrooms down there. We renovated this entire floor, putting in the ceiling, the lights, etc. We laid a 2-inch concrete layer over the first floor to give us a stronger floor. The old freight elevator, as I mentioned, was replaced. The sprinkler system was updated and then covered the whole building. The first sale in this building was a 3-day sale, like all our other sales. Within a couple of years, we added 3 additional sales. One in the fall, one at Christmas, one at springtime, 1 day each. And the reason we did it is we had so much merchandise, we didn't have room to store it. A couple years later, as we opened the sale, we had an extremely heavy snow load on the roof. The roof a roof beam up by the food area cracked. And we had to evacuate the building, but thanks to the Ann Arbor Fire Department bringing a truck down to assist us to get on the roof, Don Butcher and Bud Katz had us in operation the next day. We also opened the following Saturday to kind of make up the time at that point. Some of the things that have changed. When we first got here in this building, the back room was kind of a real back room. But there happened to be a few gallons of wine and a few other drinks back there for relaxation. Most of the members and the volunteers found this location and enjoyed it. One point that many of you probably are unaware of at this point, but between 1987 and 2002, 5 members and 1 outside individual contributed $717,982 in the form of bequests upon their death. We added the air conditioning downstairs, upgraded the elevator to be able to hold passengers in addition to freight, but it was a great addition and we are very thankful for what they gave us. Members and the spouses and volunteers have currently had much success in this building. We currently have 60 volunteers, 5 staff, and a good number of wives and husbands that are helping with the sale. In addition, over the years, many children of members worked on the sale. Many of them are members currently today. I'm one, but with the other people in this room that worked on the sale prior to joining the club, please stand. Thank you. I'm going to relate a little bit to what Jerry Brown said, but thanks to the generosity of Jake Haas and Don Butcher giving us the warehouses out by the Costco store, it proved the need for additional space, and we realized that this building was inadequate in space, parking, and several other things. It's a hard thing for me to say, but I'm happy to see us move. I was in on the original group that put the bid together to buy it, but I honestly think it's time to do it. I would like to thank all the members, their spouses, family members, volunteers, and friends for making the Kiwanis Club of Ann Arbor the great organization it is today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheridan. Our next speaker is Kathy Barden-Perlberg. Kathy joined our club with Lynn Landy as one of the first 2 women members. That happened October the 5th, 1987. However, Kathy had already been working as a Kiwanis sale volunteer for 20 years prior to joining our club. Kathy is one of the 9 second-generation Kiwanis family kids that Sheridan referred to. She served on membership, member recognition, investment oversight, bylaw, honorary member, hospitality, nominating, and the sale management committees. She was sale chairman in 1989, president of our club in 1993-94, chairman of the K Family Leadership, our 90th anniversary celebration, budget and finance membership committees, and board of directors two different times, 1996, 2001, and 2014 to just finishing up 2017. Kathy's going to address our sale in action from both our sale worker and our sale customer's point of view. Please help me welcome Kathy Barden-Perlberg.
Thank you very much, Karen. Thank you, everyone. Welcome. The committee put together a short video, and Ken, our IT guy, Ken, wave your hand because you're doing an excellent job running this. Yay, Ken! Is going to play this short video for about 4 minutes for you to look at some of the comments that volunteers and customers have made, and then I'll start my comments when this is done. So please enjoy.
I love the Kiwanis sale. It's a wonderful place to come. Bargains galore. I've been here since I was knee-high to a grasshopper.
Been coming here for over 20 years. I just come. My grandson said, "Gran, you want to go?" And I came. Here I am. Been here for years.
Here's my list. A blender, kitchen clock, boxes, file cabinet, lamp, mixer, kids' clothes, toys, sheets, mixing bowl, books, and a pressure cooker. And I'm sure I'll find them all at the Kiwanis sale.
I always come down to look for good kitchenwares. A lot of times I find antiques, they're great.
I'm trying to come down here to get me some silk.
Silk?
Yeah, silk shirt, silk bow ties, and flashy shoes, and smile at the window.
Actually, I really like to come to the Kiwanis sale. You always have a lot of fun here.
One of the best shows in town most of the time. You can pretty much get what you want for low prices.
I'd like to say that I live in the manufactured home across the street, the Sile Farms Estates, and I've been telling my friends over there about the wonderful new facility Kiwanis has here on Staebler Road, and how if they're moving out, they can donate things to Kiwanis, and if they're moving into our community over there, there's plenty of things to buy to fill out their new trailer.
I think that everybody needs to come out to the Kiwanis store. You just never know what you're going to find. I have the greatest fun here, and my daughter has furnished 2 different apartments through here, and it's wonderful. And the people are great. Support this cause.
I never know exactly what I'm looking for, but I buy a lot of things for handicapped boys and homes, and so I'm always finding something. I was just in last week and bought cupboards, and I buy them dishes.
Well, we just started volunteering maybe a month ago, and primarily it's like because we always came here shopping for records, and we knew that downtown was closing, and they were saying from the volunteers that we knew here, saying, well, there's a lot of records that still need sorted. So it was nice because we were very much made to feel welcome and appreciated. You know, like, well, yeah, when we plow through it because to us this is fun. And it's like, well, it's nice to do a good deed too, but it's fun to go through. And then it's like, if we see something that's not like incredibly valuable, which nothing really is here, it's like, well, okay, we can buy our dollar records still. Like we're sorting through them and we put a pile like, oh yeah, I think we'd like to have this, just like when we used to come here to shop, except now we're sorting it for them as well.
I've been a member off and on since the early 1980s, and I am a volunteer. I came over here and started complaining that their books weren't well organized, and they said, if you don't like it, do something about it. So I did. Number one, it's a great relief from the stress of working, and I do work full-time usually. It makes me feel good because I can help people and help them find things. And I've always loved books. I've worked in libraries as a volunteer since I was in 7th grade. So it's just a hobby, and my biggest problem is that I tend to take home bag after bag of stuff every other week. And then spend all my time reading at home, not getting the housework done.
Thank you, Ken. So, off script, you saw Shaky Jake there. Yeah. Urban legend is that he would come here and buy new shoes and leave his old shoes. And buy other clothes, obviously, as he mentioned in the video, but he was a fixture here back in the day. I am wearing my volunteer apron tonight on purpose, and I'm also sporting the corporate colors for the thrift sale. So people said, why are you wearing your apron? And I go, because I'm talking about the volunteers, and that's what we do. We wear this apron when we work. Our sale here in this building is on Saturdays, but in this building, for those of you who don't know, on Mondays and Thursdays they sort and do different kinds of activities in the building to get ready for the sale on Saturday. And there's probably other people who do other things on other days, but that's the basics. So, last Saturday, I was speaking with a volunteer here at downtown. She often works Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at our thrift sale. She told me that she's decided to come out to West and help us sort on Mondays. Thursdays, she's going to attend her Bible club because she hasn't been doing that for years. For 25 years, she's been volunteering here, and we think she's a vivacious volunteer. With her permission, I'm able to share with you that she's 88 years young. Thank you, Gloria. We're going to look forward to seeing you out at West. And Gloria, go green. We like that go green, go white thing, but anyway. Please think of how many years you've been volunteering for our thrift sale. Now that you have that number in your mind, I'd like to ask you to raise your hand if you've been volunteering for 50 or more years. How about 25 or more? Hands up, 25 or more. Keep them all raised. 25 or more. 15 or more. Keep them raised, all of you. 1 month or more. Yeah, okay, so that's absolutely terrifically significant. My talk is right on because we have marvelous members and vivacious volunteers. Welcome to each of you. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're celebrating our history. We're paying tribute to our tradition in this building for over 50 years plus. The past presidents wanted to honor that tradition and to reflect on our history as we transition from this building. So tonight we're focusing on the volunteer activities relating to the thrift sale. I will not speak about the many other activities that this club does, like the leadership of our officers, our directors, and our many busy committees. I will not speak about the various service projects, like our motor meal route, Mott Hospital, like our annual Salvation Army bell ringing, where before the Christmas before Saturday, this club rings all stations all day. Or our Warm the Children project. We're also not focusing on the 2 international projects that this club supported. If you look at that back wall there, there's something called the Eliminate Project. There's 3 posters there. And you'll see that we went over $100,000. We actually did $107,000 to eliminate neonatal tetanus and maternal tetanus. The reason I point that out is that that wasn't sale money, that was members raising money for an international project to that amount. Previous to that, we did an international project, iodine deficiency disorder, and we raised $104,000. Again, not sale money. So I'm not talking about any of those anymore. But I wanted you to know that many of us in this room do many other things besides the thrift sale on a regular basis. And I thank you for all of that. So, tonight, volunteers, thrift sale volunteers. This Kiwanis Club of Ann Arbor is a member of Kiwanis International, and they have 6 objectives in Kiwanis. I'm going to focus on the 5th objective of 6. I think I can say without fear of contradiction that this is why everybody in this room is here and why we continue to do the work of our thrift sale. Objective 5 of 6 says, provide through Kiwanis clubs practical, enduring friendships, render altruistic service, and build better communities. So let's take this apart. First, enduring friendships. Have any of you experienced friendships with a coworker or with your customers here at the thrift sale? If so, please raise your hand. This is significant. Let's take a moment to be grateful for this gift, enduring friendships. There's also the family component that was mentioned earlier by Sherry, and tonight I spent time talking with his 3 daughters because we were kids here hanging out. The second generation and their spouses I got out of the roster, and while we were growing up in this building, some children are also growing up at West, like Evan Leroy's daughter, Lucy. She's 5 years old. Most of us know her. What skills might we be teaching her, and might she be learning, and might she be teaching us? What skills did my boys learn when they worked at the sale? What skills did I learn? You can imagine the answers and the skills. So with family in mind, I dedicate this talk to my dad. Dad was one of the proudest Kiwanians on the planet. I'm sorry, he is one of the proudest Kiwanians on the planet. And he will gladly tell you, often giving one clap and happy dollars for the honor to do so. He says he is the only past president to have a son, my brother Bob, and a daughter, myself, as past presidents of this club. Since we are... Since we're not doing happy dollars tonight, Bob and I are going to write a check to contribute to the scholarship on behalf of the volunteers next spring, so that we'll honor my dad and honor the volunteers, all of you who do what we do on a regular basis. My brother and I were taught by our dad to be volunteers, to serve. And for that, I thank him. What a gift. I wish he could be with us tonight. Our membership digest says that the families include Bardens, Cross, Deaver, Drake, Klinger, Landy, Robb, Springer, Ziesmer, second generations. Spouses, Berg, Dahl, Gray, Hillenberg, Lampkin, Meisner, Matson, Preston, and Smith. Please raise your hand if you've ever brought a family member to Kiwanis to work. Yeah, whether you wanted to or not. Yeah, kid, grandkid, visiting guests, etc. So with that point of family and friendship reviewed, let's move on to the second point of objective 5 of 6. Render altruistic service. What might altruistic service mean? Altruistic is defined as the unselfish regard or devotion to the welfare of others. I wanted to look it up and explain it to you tonight because I thought I knew what it meant, but I wanted to focus on it more than just passing words. I wanted to tell you that the synonyms for altruistic are humanitarian, magnanimous, sacrifice, benevolent, noble, honorable, and kind-hearted. A room full of altruistic people are here tonight. We are very, very blessed. Martin Luther King Jr. said that everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. So now we have that gift that we give to others. We give it to ourselves, we give our time, we give our talent, and we give our example to each other and to our customers. For many years, we had only one sale in February, as Sherry mentioned earlier. As we became stewards of more and more items, we had a mountain of clothing downstairs that really was intense. So we had the quarterly sales, but that wasn't enough. In the 90s, we decided to have the marvelous idea to open every Saturday. I was on the board then. It was suggested that I was single-handedly trying to kill the volunteers. But alas, many of you are here tonight and worked with us for many, many years after we opened every Saturday. We needed to be good stewards of what the gifts were the community was giving us and get the money back out into the community. It was hard to change and a challenge, but with our mission as motivation to help the kids, and thanks to volunteer coordinators such as Glenda and Ralph Mayton, whose dedication of 47 years helped meet many challenges with positive direction. So, we donate, we receive and or pick up tons and tons of items. We sort, we price, we place, we clean, we recycle, we give away, we repair, we make apps, appointments, we research, we appraise, we sell, we count, we report, we schedule, we pick up donuts, we make coffee, make announcements, lock and unlock doors, account, make popcorn, buy supplies, market, smile, wrap, load, move, recycle, throw away, box, unbox. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Add student move in. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Add Christmas. Repeat, repeat, repeat. and on, week after week, month after month, year after year. After selling furniture one week, my son said, Casey said, "This is like a prayer, an active and civic prayer. It is the mutual association of us working together for the greater good, past, present, and future. It is what we do with grit and singleness of purpose to provide altruistic service. Our gift to each other and our gift to help meet the third point of Objective 5 of 6, to build a better community." I am fond, and many people have heard me say this, I call it greater good. We all are working toward the greater good. We want the greater good to happen, which I believe is code for build a better community. We recycle an enormous amount of stuff, keeping it out of the landfill. We provide goods for those in need at greatly reduced prices and sometimes for free. We give employment to members of the community. We give volunteer opportunities to our awesome Circle K, the university clubs. We give also those same opportunities to the terrific Key clubs, our high school gang. We actually provide a place for our Action Club, which is for challenged folks to have a place to meet at our building. And we take and donate to other organizations our excess products. The thrift sale profits, the money, our gifting, granting, and scholarshiping over the years has amounted to over $6 million. Think about that. That's $6 million put into our community to make it a better place to live and to work. Organizations that we have gifted to are, if you'll note, on the back of your program in this little teeny tiny font, which you're going to have to take home and get magnifiers out because there's so many of them, and see which ones you know. And if you imagine, we've given to some of them year after year after year, and hundreds of thousands of hours and people and product and just awesome good things happening to organizations that you all have helped give at minimum $6 million to. So imagine that it's not just the money though. What else have we given them? Have we fostered any hope? Have we given them any motivation? And for that I submit to you a little bit of a story about why this is truly significant. This other story helps to illustrate this altruism. Several regular customers knew of our mission to serve the children. They were shopping and saw that we were missing opportunity to return more to the bottom line. They knew that if we did a little bit of research, did a little bit of repair, cleaned it up, appraised it, and priced our items for sale, we could get more dollars, more to give to the kids. So they decided to become vivacious volunteers. And they do the above mentioned. They repair it, they clean it, they appraise it. And they have made significant improvements in the bottom line of our jewelry department. Thank you, new jewelry ladies, for what you do for us. Their stated motive, to make more money for the kids. So, as we move the thrift sale to West, we are resolved to succeed. Kiwanis, object number 5 of 6, enduring friendship, altruistic service, and to change the community for the better. The criteria is exactly the same. The venue will change. We hope and ask that you will all consider joining us in that objective. If you come for the traditional donut, graciously provided for many, 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 many years by Washtenaw Dairy, or for the popcorn out at West, we believe that you'll enjoy many aspects. There'll be finds and furnishings, fun, fitness, friends, family, philanthropy, and food that await you. We welcome you, your heart full of grace, your soul generated by love. So in closing, as I started, we are enduring friends, altruistic citizens, and doing greater work for the good of the community to change the world. I salute each of you, marvelous members and vivacious volunteers. I most humbly thank you for all that you have done, past, present, and future, to help us help kids. Good evening.
joined our club in 1988. He served on member recognition, investment oversight, bylaw, honorary member, hospitality, and nominating committees. Peter's been the chair of our Children and Youth Services, one of our big grant-giving committees, K-Family Leadership, Budget and Finance, and Membership. Board of Directors in 96 to 2001, president of our club in 1999 to 2000, and head of a very important sale management oversight committee from 2013 to 2015. In addition, Peter, for several years, has presided over our annual high school scholarship presentations, which is one of our highlights of our program year here at Kiwanis. Currently, he's on the strategic and long-range planning, member recognition, budget and finance, and investment oversight committees. Peter will pick up the Kiwanis story where Sheridan Springer left off. Peter.
Well, you rarely get to say this. I'm the last and certainly the least. To follow Jerry Brown, Lynn Landy, Sherry Springer, and Kathy Barden is truly an honor. Thank you. I'm going to talk about the sales some, and then I'm going to talk numbers, and then I hope to leave everybody being very excited about our club. Who are we? What will we be in the future? Basically, the Kiwanis Club of Ann Arbor is an organization that values very hard work in order to give those in need. Picking up where Sherry was in terms of physical space, in 2011 we made the jump to a second space. Why did we need more space? And I'm going to hit on three themes that Sherry and Kathy both talked about. Storage space, sorting space, and the ever-changing need to recycle. Storage space. It was stored everywhere. We had crap everywhere around town. We had stuff where people didn't want it. Members' homes, warehouse spaces, and as Kathy and Sherry both pointed out, 1 sale, 2 sales, 4 sales, 50 sales. In essence, now, at the moment, more than 100 sales because if you take both sites. We needed to reevaluate what we were doing. Seasonal and large items, cost and access became game changers. Sorting space. So in 1999, we determined that we were going to redo some of this building. And that year I was president. It was a very long year. God bless Chuck North. Chuck North was a wonderful man and did a great job leading that charge. We had for a while, if those of you remember, the building was so convoluted that we literally carried the carts up and down the sidewalks because we didn't have an elevator. It was ridiculous. We needed to sort better. There isn't a single volunteer in the 90s or 2000 that were happy with our storage and our sorting. They made do, they did great, but it wasn't easy. We basically got by people putting in more hours. We had to do something about it with the storage and the sorting space. Also, in the 80s and 90s, especially in the good old city of Ann Arbor, recycling took over. The city first pushed people into it. The Ann Arbor's elite gave us their wonderful furniture and their clothes. College students return stuff every year, the same items. The townies gave us great stuff. The Ann Arbor weirdos gave us stuff. We got stuff from everybody. Recycling was at a peak. Just for the record, it's back again. You pick up M-Light, and thank God, Mike Eaglin, you're not a city councilman anymore because of all this stuff going on with the dump and the landfill and all this. Recycling is important, and we're a very major part of it. But again, who are we? We're an organization that gives back to the community through this unique rummage sale, and as Kathy pointed out, member contributions. Somewhere around 10, 15 years ago, strategic group really got together and pushed for change. And in 2011, as I mentioned, some of us, mainly Doug Ziesmer, convinced Jake and Don to let us borrow one of their buildings. The story's a little convoluted, but we got a small space. They needed us to move. We got a larger space through some cajoling of Jake, who's now my boss, so I got to watch it. True. We got a bigger space, and then we took more space. Correct? And all for the cost of $0. So for 3 years we were out there. The sale did very well. We had storage space, but alas, they wanted their building back at some point. Oh, and we're now at $250,000 in sales, and we really needed to become more of a business. Through the great leadership of Mark Wishka and the dearly departed Al Daly, we restructured the club. The main thing that we did immediately was we hired a permanent sales manager, Mario, who's still with us, and we had always had some staff, and he expanded the staff. If you are an employee of Kiwanis, will you please rise so we can recognize you if you're in the room? Thank you. We have great staff. We'll talk about that in a minute. One of them is a little suspect, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What also happened is pickups, and this is a difficult conversation. So for many, many years, on Wednesdays and Saturdays, members would go out on the truck and pick stuff up, and it worked. Due to the aging of our membership and the amount of furniture we were bringing in, that wasn't viable anymore. I guess, Sherry, they got by drinking wine in the back room, but I guess that came to an end. Great members like Paul Klinger and Will Fry led that charge, and then Bob Gray took it over and did a fantastic job. One of our employees, Al Bork, did a great job. The reality was pickups and drop-offs were really problematic. If you ever worked on the dock on a Saturday, there was always at least 1 or 2 fights with people parked illegally or going the wrong way. And we've been dodging a bullet with the city for a long time. I personally have great memories of pickups. I was one of 6 sons. My mother worked for Bud Stein sewing clothes, and our next door neighbor was Merle Crawford. And little known to me that my mother would farm us out on weekends to basically go pick up stuff from barns and bring it down here. I thought it was fun. She was trying to get us out of the house. We talk about family relationships. I have a very bizarre one in Kiwanis. About 15 years ago or so, all my kids worked pickups, and one of them liked it. And my son Mark still works. As I've turned out tonight from Ralph Mayton, most of the people like him a lot more than me here. Thanks, Ralph. And he still works, so it's a nice relationship that continues to go on. The Staebler property we got had great merit for 2 big reasons. 1, it was big, and 2, it had some potential for other income. And when we got it, we had 3 tenants. And then a year and a half later, we had 1. Very problematic. I will say we now have 3 again, and we're working on others, so it's back to where it was. But the issue was our cash flows had declined, and we simply weren't given what we used to into the communities. Very problematic for some of us, and because of the gifting was reduced. One thing that we've had going for us off and on over the years is our voucher program. Many times in our history, it looked like the voucher program was coming to an end. 2 people started and really hammered to make the voucher program fantastic, and that is Bart and Sally Lampkin, and they're in the room tonight, and they did an incredible job with the voucher program. We all know that wasn't actually Bart's main claim to fame. It was 1968 being the principal of Lawton Elementary when I was in kindergarten. That's his main claim to fame. It's actually true. What happened then is, as the Lampkins moved off, Robert Carr and Ellen Webb picked it up. And in the program, just before we started tonight, Sherry Springer gave me the number. This year alone, in our calendar year, 383 families, $71,330 worth of gifting. Just stuff. And let's be very clear on this. This is to individuals who have literally nothing. This is furniture, this is clothes. This doesn't change their lives, it makes their lives. This is an incredible thing we do, and it's great gifting. The West Side also brought an opportunity for better control and sorting of goods, as I mentioned. It also gave us this great retail space. Also took on the debt. So when we determined to sell this building, our $600,000 in sales this year, correct? $600,000 this year, but we're not doing as much gifting as we did 2 or 3 years ago. There's the dynamic, reducing the debt. We're recharging the sale. We're making it new again, and if you heard Sherry's speech, there were about 6 points that we made it new again. So we're moving west. If you have a second, look at the internal map of everything that's going on in West. It's crazy. There's lots of stuff going on. We triple the retail space. Yay. Unbelievably good on-site parking. Parking here downtown, pretty marginal. Sorry. There's no city councilman in the room, right, Mike? A great place to hold club meetings. Wonderful sorting space. It is wonderful sorting space. Have you been out there? We have popcorn at the sale. Thank you, Ellen Berg. We have better control of our drop-offs, much better, although that little house still drives me crazy. We've eliminated the storage and moving of goods for our members and our staff. We're cutting costs by doing that. We have 3 tenants. We might have 4 to 5 soon. Wonderful human being, Kathy Wilder, convinced the Western Washington Busing Authority, the WAVE, I'm not sure it's actually the right name, but it's called the WAVE, and every half an hour on the hour, we get busing. We get buses to have people go, and the Ann Arbor Transportation Authority has actually slightly expanded their routes to Myers. We have nice busing. We have the KEEP, an environmental effort to keep our property basically enhanced the nature of it, 7 acres. Amazing thing happened a couple months ago. We have the ability to help others in disasters. We sent $6,400 worth of clothes to Texas to help Hurricane Harvey folks. How many people know that? That was wonderful, whoever did that. Fantastic. Obviously, we can have a bigger sale. We have financial controls, and we're able to give more to the community because of debt. I'm finishing up with numbers. I'm a numbers person. Everybody knows that. Sherry and Kathy gave you some, but let's hit them hard. 96 years of giving, 96 plus years of giving. In those years, $8.8 million in sales. 8.8 million. It's a real number. Kathy told you we gave out $6 million. Here's how it breaks out. $5 million in local giving, another $500,000 in vouchers, more than $400,000 to the Salvation Army, $250,000 to national efforts of Kiwanis, excluding these 2 beautiful ones Kathy talked about, hundreds and thousands of dollars to other entities. I have no idea, nobody knows, how many books Harry has given to the local kids in Detroit. There are thousands of kids in Detroit who learned how to read because of Harry Cross. Right there. Thank you, Harry. It's wonderful. So $6 million in gifts. Okay, what will we be in the future? Mark Wishka, my friend Mark Wishka in 2011 said we want to have $1 million in income. We're going to get there, right, Mark? $1 million in income is going to mean that we are going to be able to gift more than $500,000 a year. So let it sink in, $500,000 a year. That's fantastic. We're going to keep doing vouchers. The days when vouchers were not in high demand or people didn't want them to are over. We have furniture coming out of every inch of that warehouse. We have clothes. As long as my good friend Ellen Webb keeps it up, every Thursday we're going to have hundreds of families helped. It's fantastic. We're going to be, I'm going to use a little Donald Trump here, we are going to be the greatest recycler ever, ever, and we are already the greatest community asset around. Thank you.
Sheridan, Kathy, Peter, and others, thank you very much for this evening. We hope that you were entertained and informed about the Kiwanis Club of Ann Arbor story. After all, you're a part of that story. Don't forget about the scholarship donation. There's some envelopes on the table if you wish to contribute. Alan's holding up, there's a little card if you wish to have your gift acknowledged, and the box is by the door. It's been fun for me. I always learn a lot every time I work at Kiwanis, and tonight was not an exception. Thank you for all of your efforts. Thank you for coming, and have a safe evening. Good night.